Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to another episode of the Four Horsemen. I'm the Chadster, and tonight we're going to be covering our Tournament 20 finals. I am joined here tonight by two of our stalwart players, Tim Kincaid and John Eckelberry. Tim and John, good evening, guys.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Good evening.
Thanks for being back with me tonight to cover this Tournament 20s finals match. This has been quite the tournament. Some really spicy decks, some really crazy battles, and we are finally here at the finals. And what a build-up it has been. Four Horsemen Old School Magic is the only old school magic group that focuses exclusively on Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark. Check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com. Tournament 20 wrapped up on May 11th, and this has been using our updated ban of restricted list, which the players seem to be pretty happy with and has really helped balance out the format. And if you'd like to play, you can join us at facebook.com/groups/4horsemenmtg. All right, guys, a lot of build up to this finals. We're finally here. We're going to be taking a look at the decks first, a look at the brackets. In our last couple of semifinals videos, Virgilio faced off versus Alex and emerged victorious, and Derek Saylor faced off versus Luke Federer, and Derek also emerged victorious. Derek's been making a few top 8 and semis in the past and hasn't quite made it to the finals before. This is Derek's first time in the finals. Virgilio's had some very strong showings in our past tournaments and has usually made top 8 as well, making it into the semis here and into the finals with Virgilio facing off against Derek. So Virgilio's running Tron. If you've watched our past videos, you've seen us break down these decks. We'll take another look at those today. And Derek's running his Trapper Keeper. So we were just talking before we started the video, and we were talking about Derek's deck name, Trapper Keeper. We'll look at that deck first. This is a play on the old elementary school binder that we all had back in the 80s as kids. And Derek's aptly named his deck after the Trapper Keeper. It's pretty cool. I like it. He's got those Tawnos coffins, and he's got those Drop of Honey, and he's got Arborea and Spirit Link. So he's trapping and keeping, right? Mm-hmm. And the Tawnos Coffin can be used on his Triskelion and Tetravis as well. Derek's deck's very, very spicy. We just wrapped up the semifinals match that Alex and Virgilio did. So, John, you haven't had a deep dive into Derek's Trapper Keeper deck. What do you think of this brew?
I like it. It's interesting. This is another deck that has a very minimal amount of creatures, all artifact creatures, just like the deck that he's going to be facing off against. He doesn't have quite the mana ramp that the other deck does, but he's got some good answers for opposing artifacts. And Arborea is just going to be a real pain if he drops that. It's going to be tough to kill him. I mean, he could still die to the rocket launcher, right?
Yep.
But I don't know. This is going to be a weird match with the kind of control on control. There's going to be a lot of cards that feel a little bit dead. It's going to feel a little bit slow. He does have, I was talking in the last video about Dust to Dust, and there it is in the board. So That's a way to just permanently remove that rocket launcher.
That's right.
They've both got a mirror, so like we could see a game where they trade life totals and then trade life totals again. I see that he has my my comic book Arabian Nights oubliettes in the sideboard there. That's cool.
Yep, he's got them down there in the board.
It's yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. I think this will be interesting. It could be a really long match. It could be a really short match. I don't know. We'll see.
And also for our viewers, Derek's made some of his own custom Legends lands. They're lands with the legend symbols. So the cards across the top there, I think those are plains, if I'm not mistaken. Or are those forests? It's really hard to tell.
I think the plains are the bottom left corner. He's got 4 plains, and the red-black is swamp.
Okay, so he's got 4. Yeah, okay, that's right. The four lands in the lower corner under the T20 are 4 plains. The 2 black and red ones are swamps. Yeah, and then he's got 3 bayous.
Yeah, you can tell by the shading of the text box, like the colors.
Okay.
I think they're pretty cool looking. It's really interesting. Kind of this thing that we're seeing in niche old school, where we for the Fallen Empires 40 group we made some lands. A local artist that was friends with one of the moderators painted some Fallen Empires lands, and we printed those up and gave them out as promotional things. And now we've seen other lands made in other groups. Jacob Monk made some Homelands lands in the one of the other groups, and now we're seeing Legends lands. It's kind of cool to see basics for all of the old sets.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. And obviously Derek wants to max out the forests because he's running his Dark Heart of the Woods up there. And if he can get that Dark Heart down mid to late game, and he's got all these forests, including the bayous and the savannas, then he's got tons of life, and he can greed in Sylvan Library and draw a ton of cards. So this deck's pretty cool. I mean, it is black, white, and green. So it's got the trio of colors. And you're right, John. He's only got 4 Triskelions, 3 Clockworks, and 3 Brassmen. What do you think these Brassmen are doing in here?
Yeah, they're just good early blockers for like aggressive decks and factories and whatever. They shore up the early game a little bit until he can kind of get going and doing what he wants to be doing.
Tim, what do you think about these Brassmen? Do these jive with the construction of the deck, do you think?
I'm a huge fan of Brassmen, and especially in the Four Horsemen format. It's like John just mentioned. I just think they soak up the early damage. This deck screams, let me just survive a little bit and keep my life high. I don't want you to kill me. I've got Mirror Universe. I've got Dark Heart and Spirit Links and Divine. I've got all these life gain cards, even 2 Fountain of Youth, right, in the main deck. He wants to just survive, so that's his speed bump creature. I don't think he has real synergy with anything else except just let me just block and soak up early damage. But I think it fits. He's so strong. Turn 1 play for an answer like Kurt Ape or any other 1/1 except for Pixie.
Yeah.
Even the factory, right? He blocks that 1 Mistress Factory.
Yeah. Well, he is running 62 cards. He's got these 2 extra Fountain of Youth hanging out in the upper right, in addition to his Ivory Tower and his Dark Heart for life gain. He's also got the 3 Divine Offerings. He's running the 3 Drops of Honey. He's got 2 Proxy Drops of Honey there in the middle, and on the 4 Spirit Links. So, plus he's got the 3 Tanos Coffin. So he has a lot of defense and a way to neutralize creatures, and he's got a lot of ways to gain life.
Yeah, I like his deck. It's really a grindy kind of control deck. It just traps stuff and keeps stuff. It's not a keeper binary deck. It's fun.
That's right.
I expect that the Spirit Links aren't going to be great here because you can't really play it on Tetris. They just make tokens, and then you Spirit Link a Trike, and they're like, okay. I mean, it's decent against them, but they can just fire off the arms in response. And I think that Mirror Universe and Divine Offering are very powerful here. I expect Boomerang to be the counter to that and be very powerful. And I think the whole Dark Heart Greed Tower with the Fountain of Youth is going to make for, and even like Lantax Sylvan, like he's got tons of ways to get card advantage and gain life and play the long game. He's pretty strong.
Yeah, he's also got that one of Diamond Valley hanging out down there under the mirror. So he's got the Diamond Valley angle as well. Like he's got every life gain angle you can have in the game right now, pretty much.
Yeah, the only thing he's missing is like, what's that white card from Legends? Instant double white. The
Eye for an eye.
Like, oh, that's
that's Arabian Nights.
It's like gain X life.
Instant. Oh, the Alabaster Potion.
Alabaster Potion. Yeah, that's like the stream of life of Arabian or of Legends.
Yeah.
There's also that enchantment that you played, Tim. You were when I played you in tournament. I think it was tournament 14. The first time I met you. I think it's the first time I ever saw that card. And if you have a planes in play, you gain 1 life at your upkeep.
Oh yeah, what was that called? Spiritual Sanctuary? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I was like, is that a magic card? Is this a real card? Let me look this up. Oh, weird. I've never seen anybody play that card.
Yeah, thanks. You remember? I guess I scarred you for life with Spiritual Sanctuary. Right? I left an impression, but it's like Fountain of Youth, but you don't have to spend any mana. And most people aren't running white, right? Everybody's like running these green-red Arabian aggro or Serendibs in blue, or even these artifacts. A lot of white's not as popular. I mean, it's like Fountain of Youth for free every turn, but it does cost double white. But yeah, it was a fun card.
Well, Derek's been, like I said in the intro, he's been really kind of improving his deck brewing skills. He's brewed a lot of really fun and kind of off the wall decks. Like he had a deck called Suck My Clock, which was an Armageddon clock deck. And he's been trying a lot of out of the box stuff that's got some really spicy different cards that you just never see. And here he's really honed in on what's going on in the Four Horsemen meta with all the restricted cards. He's running every single one of them except for Tabernacle and Recall and Mana Drain, right? Like, since he's not having blue, like he's running literally like almost every single restricted card we've got. And he's exploiting that to the max with this white, green, black combo engine he's built between locking everything down, trapping and keeping your dudes at bay with the Spirit Links, the Tanos Coffins, the Abyss, the Arborea. There's just so much going on, and it's got a lot of synergy, a lot more so, I think, than some of Derek's prior decks.
It's a really strong looking control deck.
Yeah.
Congrats, Derek. And I, like you said, I love his names. It's so fun.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. So in our last semi videos, the three of us already did Virgilio's Tron deck, but just real quickly, do you guys want to make any additional comments about Virgilio's deck and how he might face off here against Derek?
I have one, John. Chad, notice that both these decks have Desert Twisters within their main and side. They're both running them, and they're in the finals, and they're big mana decks with so that's interesting to me that they both have Desert Twisters.
Yeah, it takes out any card, and when you've got ramp with Fellwar Stones or with other things like the Elves, 6 mana is the same price of a Triskelion or a Tetravis or a Mirror Universe or whatever, and it's not that hard to ramp up into it, and it gets rid of anything. So yeah, Desert Twister is showing itself to be extremely powerful and versatile. It's almost a mandatory card to be playing if you're playing green.
Might be useful against that Arborea.
Yeah.
In order to get a win in.
For sure.
So I'm interested to see how this plays out, because these guys are doing similar things, but they've definitely got different angles that they're coming at it with.
Yeah, it looks really grindy. It should come down to a lot of like skillful plays, I would think. This should be a skill-intensive match, not just like, I dropped my hand out, I played 5 creatures by turn 3 and turned them sideways and killed you.
Right.
This is going to be a grind, and it should be skill-intensive, and it's going to come down to like who can get card advantage, right? They're all playing those restricted card drawing engines and life gain to try to counteract the life loss of like a Sylvan or Greed. And yeah, it should be a grindy control match.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. They do have a lot of the similar restricted cards between the Greed, the Sylvan. I mean, Virgilio is even running a Fountain of Youth. John has often talked about this in our prior commentaries about how important life gain is. Both of these guys are really leaning into life gain and card draw. So it's like who's going to hit their Greed or their Sylvan along with some life gain first. I do notice that Virgilio does not have Diamond Valley. He does not have the Divine Offerings. He's got the one tower and only one Fountain of Youth. So when you step back, Derek has a lot more ways to gain life. And if he comes down to having a couple of Spirit Links in his hand, he could also Spirit Link his own Clockwork Avian and be able to gain some more. So I think Derek has the advantage in life gain, but what Virgilio has is he's got these Tron lands. And if he is, as we saw in some of the prior semifinals, and if you've watched the earlier Tournament 20 videos, Virgilio's been able to really exploit and leverage the Tron lands extremely effectively. And he's had an uncanny ability to draw his one of rocket launcher in like every game he plays, which raises an eyebrow. Like, how does that happen? But then he's able to reconstruct it. In other matches, he's able to go get it with his transmutes. Even though he's only running one rocket launcher main deck, with those two transmutes, he can go get it. But he hasn't even had to use them in a lot of the other matches. He's been drawing it straight up. So I think that Virgilio can pull ahead in an advantage if his Tron lands come out early. Otherwise, I think Derek's going to be able to keep him at bay. He's got drops himself. He's got two deserts main. He's got some blockers with his Brassman to slow things down. He's got those Divine Offerings. And then he's got that Diamond Valley. So when he is losing dudes, he's going to be gaining life. Whereas, Virgilio doesn't have that in his deck.
I hope this doesn't come down to like a Kane on Kane game 2 or 3, just like who gets the Felden's Kane and who can.
Oh, in the board there, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
like
true.
Just Kane on Kane match or, but one big advantage I see for Virgilio here is not only do they both have the card advantage engine with all these different, ways to draw more cards and gain life and draw the card. But Virgilio has all the mana, like you said, Chad, with the Tron. So he can cast more spells. It's like, yeah, they can both get a bunch of cards and get advantage, but Virgilio can like play more spells and gain tempo while still casting like instants.
Yeah.
And getting the big stuff out. So that might be a big advantage.
That's a good point. Yeah, he can still put stuff in play and save his one blue for Remove Soul or double blue for Boomerang or whatever. But he doesn't have any creature removal at all. So his only creature removal is the Abyss and Drop of Honey, and that's it. And Abyss is not going to work against Derek because Derek's all artifacts as well. All right, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think we should get over to the match. We've got it queued up over here.
Those 3 Desert Twisters that Trapper Keeper has the Trapper Keeper deck. Maybe he can keep him off Tron after Sideboard. Derek, he's got 3 Twisters. Those are his ways to in a strip mine. So he could technically kill like 4 towers, with those 4 cards.
Yeah, it's true.
Virgilio has no coffins in his list, right?
No, I was kind of thinking that a coffin might have been cool.
Yeah, I think Derek being able to do the coffin combo with the trike might just be the way that these games end.
Yeah, like maybe if you pulled like 1 reconstruction for a coffin, since the coffin acts like recursion for those artifact creatures like trikes and tetravus, instead of just getting them back from the yard. But I don't know, reconstruction is pretty good when you have rocket launcher like every game.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the whole reconstruction recall artifact package is really cool.
It's sweet.
Yeah, but I think it that Coffin would be right at home in his deck. It would give him another source of removal and also another combo piece to use with Trike or Tetravis.
Yeah, fetch it with that one of those transmutes too, possibly.
Yeah. It could be solid in that deck.
All right, the guys are getting ready here. I'll skip
I think
forward.
do they mulligan here? I don't remember.
Derek's doing his piles over there. Derek's on the left. Virgilio on the right.
All right, we got middle on top for both players. We're gonna decide who goes first, maybe. I miss the old, that's one thing I miss about Chem games is the old, like, let's roll that D20 or just roll a dice.
Right?
And see who wins. I can remember, like, rolling D20s against my opponent, like, 3 times in a row, and we, like, hit the same number. It was pretty fun.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, it didn't happen as much with D20s, but those D20s I have are too small for cam games, so I don't ever use them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to see when a D20 is rolled, right? All right, so Derek's starting off here. First turn, Forest and a Brass Man. It's pretty good.
No mulligans.
No mulligans. And Virgilio's got his, what is that one, the Mine?
Yeah, ours is mine. It looks like there's 6 people in the room total.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of players watching this finals match live. It's become a fun thing to do if you've got the spare time. Usually we're doing these things on the weekends or late at night, so a lot of people jump in and watch. Okay, so Virgilio is that the power plant? Oh my God.
Is. And the Tron natural.
Holy crap. Third turn Tron. What?
What? That's the fun of Tron, right? When you get lucky.
What is going on here? Wow. So he just straight up gets a turn 3 Tetravis?
Yeah, they used to call that, I remember people called that the natural Tron.
Wow. But Derek pulls off a Mazavith and a drop of honey.
That's a pretty strong answer, don't you think?
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, I mean, that's when you come out the gates blazing like that, and then you just drop a card like that that'll destroy anything. I mean, that's fine. Now it's just a really, it's just a pyrotechnics. He's only going to get hit with it once, and then it's going to. Well, and he's got the maze of it.
He's got the maze and the drop.
He doesn't even have to get hit with it once.
Notice that Derek was on the play here and had the tower. I'm curious if they chose to play first or draw first in the control matchup, knowing each other's decks. I would think that drawing first would be big.
Yeah, if you're playing control-y, right? But Virgilio, like, he wants to come out hitting, because if he gets his Tron, which he did on turn 3, and he can get one of his 8 dudes out early, it can hit pretty heavy. This Mazavith is a real lifesaver for Derek.
Looks like Virgilio was keen enough to make tokens to try to help push through a couple points of damage and combat that drop of honey.
Yeah, it'll allow him to chip in for a tiny amount. I mean, certainly better than nothing, but I don't know.
So Derek's just like, I'm going to chill with this tower out. I'll just draw go and let the drop work, and I'll gain the life right back from that chip in.
That's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't play anything else till I had 7 cards in my hand.
Yep. Draw go, tower.
Wow, the Mazavith doing a ton of work here. But yeah, you're right. Virgilio's been able to get a couple points in extra. Meanwhile, look at Virgilio's mana. Like, he's just stacking it up here. He's got Tron, he's got double blue and green and black blue. So he's got everything he needs, plus he's got that Fell War. So now Derek can start gaining life next turn from his Ivory Tower.
There's the Arborea.
And did he cast Arborea there?
Yeah. Maybe a little premature to cast it just because he doesn't really need to, and it would allow him to play stuff, but also he can just play stuff and turn it off. I mean, he doesn't care.
He can just get down a trike and play Trapper Keeper with the coffin and just win with the trike without even attacking. So
yeah.
Right. Once he has Arborea down and he's got the Taunus Coffin that he has here, he can just start stacking up all those counters and he'll win eventually from trike damage.
Yeah, all he needs is a trike and it's pretty much game over.
You were right though, Chad. Derek really was kind of struggling on his land drops. I think he's missed like 4. He's behind at least 4 lands.
Yeah, he's way behind on land, and he's running 26 lands.
Well, this greed will fix that problem. He can just draw cards and get there.
Right.
This is like he's got Greed, Ivory, Tower combo, and Arborea. Like, how does Virilio win against Arborea? Does he
doesn't, especially post or pre-board.
Well,
like I don't think he can win this game now.
Well, hold on. Arborea is a enchant world, and Virgilio's running the Abyss, so he can destroy that Arborea with the Abyss.
Could destroy with the Abyss. That is true.
And also, Virgilio's running Desert Twisters, but not in his main, right? Only in his sideboard.
Right.
He could boomerang and like attack for like.
That's right. He does have boomerang.
Like alpha strike, you know.
Yeah, he's got a boomerang. And now look at this. He's playing the Skull of Orms, so he's setting himself up to where he can get his enchantments back. His Drop of Honey, his Abyss, his Sylvan Library if it gets destroyed.
I like. I was thinking one. What's the clone card from the Dark? The Dance of Many.
Dance of Many, yeah.
I love that card with Skull of Orm, Enchantment Recursion, and these artifact robot guys.
Well, here's the infamous rocket launcher again. Virgilio's got the launcher, and that's going to change things because now Virgilio doesn't need to attack. Right?
He's got 17 mana in play right now, is what I count, guys.
Oh, wow. And he just removed Soul on the Clockwork. Yeah, I mean, this rocket launcher changes everything.
So Derek has not kept 7 cards in hand, though, with that tower.
No, he hasn't, and he should have been.
Yeah, he could have been gaining. I mean, he's probably missed out on I don't know how much life.
Or he should just greed up to 7, and then he'll gain some of the life back from greeding.
He'll get it right back. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why you want to run out. Let's see, the maze is he played the strip mine this turn, so he didn't have the strip in play though. So Derek didn't know he was going to play strip mine, right?
Yeah, I don't know why the maze went to the graveyard like that.
I guess Virilio played strip mine and took it back.
Huh.
Because he didn't realize that Arborea, he forgot about Arborea probably.
Oh.
He can attack you.
Ooh, I don't like this. So we've got a no takebacks rule. That should not be a thing, right? Like,
but hold on. I think Derek played the Avian, or did he not play it that turn? I don't remember if he did.
Yeah, he played the Avian after the Arborea was out, and Virgilio removed sold it. So he's just Derek's just kind of ignoring the fact that he's got the Arborea out. He's trying to build up some offense and defense, but it's not going to help him with this rocket launcher because the rocket launcher is going to be able to deal so much damage, and he hasn't been gaining life like he should have been. He should not be playing cards. He should be gaining life. He should be gaining 3 life per turn.
I feel like he should have been at like 30 by now.
Yeah, if he had kept his cards in hand.
Since turn 1.
Yeah, he didn't keep his cards in hand when he needed to.
I don't know.
So how much mana is that? That is a shit ton of mana. Wow. Is that like 9 damage?
9, so it must have been 18 mana? Yeah.
John, are you seeing this? Like, it looked like Derek had
this game is kind of frustrating because I feel like Derek could be a lot higher life total than he was. You guys have already mentioned it, but it's, I don't know. He got some cards out there a little bit sooner than he needed to, and he sacrificed several life points. And I think that's going to get him into a situation where he might just get killed by a rocket launcher.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's not... I mean, he does have 3 main deck Divine Offerings, and he's got 2 main deck Desert Twisters. But he's just throwing in the towel here.
Yeah, he's at 12. He attacks for 4, and then he 16 mana kills him.
Yeah, so by playing cards after he played Arborea, he opened himself up to an attack, which he didn't need to do.
Well, he didn't even need to play Arborea when he played it. Like,
right.
He could have kept it. He could have held back a little longer, gained a lot more life. You know, when he played Arborea, it was a little premature because he already had a maze out, and there was only like one other creature out, and then he got a drop, and it was already being taken care of. I mean, I get that he was just trying to develop his board, which I can totally understand, but I think you have to have a little bit of restraint when you're playing control.
Yeah, that 3 life per turn, there was at least 3 or 4 turns where if he had just held back, he could have easily held 3 cards and just played 1 card per turn once he got to 7, and he would have had at least 9 more life.
Well, I wonder if he's like talking to himself right now, sideboarding. Like, why didn't I gain?
Well, I think this really affects matches because I think he's probably pretty tilted after that game, and now, you know, he may or may not play really tight game 2. I mean, I would really like to see him win game 2.
Yeah.
And then go to game 3, but because he had all the pieces that he needed to win that game. He just had to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair for Derek, he probably did not see that one rocket launcher coming, and he probably wasn't really too worried about it. And he's like John said, I'm going to try to develop my board here. I can kind of get some, maybe get some advantage here. And he just probably didn't see that coming. You take 18 damage from this.
Well,
but it is a thing, it is a possibility. So.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have each other's deck photos, so they should do the due diligence and spend the time to look at the deck photos. You know, we take the time to share them when we get to top 8, and it's been a long-standing tradition, and it's a resource. I've noticed a lot of players don't really spend time studying the decks. Some players spend time not only studying the decks but practicing. They'll have, I've done this before where, Tournament 17, Tim, you and I did a ton of practice matches so that I could learn what kind of decisions I should be making and not making in different scenarios. There's ways to treat these finals more serious, and certainly players have done that. And I think here Derek made some errors that he didn't have to make. But let's talk about sideboarding. Let's start with Virgilio's deck, and then we'll cover Derek's. If you're Virgilio, what are you going to sideboard in here?
Go ahead, John. I'm thinking.
Let's see here. I guess the Twisters probably come in, and that's maybe that Relic Barrier would be nice. That can that's like an extra maze almost. Mm-hmm. Tap down another artifact creature.
What about the Felden's Cane if this game goes long and being able to read?
There's no way for him to cast the Detonate, right? Because he can't have red mana without his opponent having red mana.
That's right, yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. Does he bring... I mean, the Abyss can just come straight out, so that's a free slot there.
And the Tabernacles, Virgilio's got his deck photo too, so he's like, oh, this guy's only got 8 creatures,
Yeah, so he can take out the Tabernacle and the Abyss easily and bring in a couple of cards. Does he just want the Twisters in the
Well, he definitely wants the Desert Twisters because he's going to be needing to deal with that Arborea at some point. So yeah, I think the 2 Desert Twisters for the Abyss. Well, the Abyss takes out Arborea though. Does he take the Abyss out knowing that he's facing an Arborea deck?
It'd be funny to leave it in only for that purpose, but maybe you do.
Well, it's 2 mana cheaper than a Desert Twister, and that's probably what you'd be taking out. So I don't know, but it is a one-of.
It's a good point. Maybe you do. Maybe you just leave it in then, because that's a good way to destroy it.
And he's got Jaloom Tome too, so worst case scenario, he can always pitch it to Jaloom Tome and draw another card, and then he's got the Skull of Orm, and he can get it back later if he needs it. So I don't know. It's cheaper than casting, and it doesn't take double green. It only takes the one black. So
Yeah, I like it. You've sold me on leaving it in for sure.
yeah.
I mean, I do think though that his main win con here is that rocket launcher. So
Right.
and that gets around Arborea just fine.
Yeah. So what does he take out then? He takes out the tabernacle, and maybe he takes out the candelabra.
I mean, how good is Drop of Honey in this match where each of them only has a few big guys? I mean, I guess it kills a big guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, you raise a good point. They both got Drop of Honey, and maybe Virgilio just says, you know what? Screw Arborea. My whole deck is going to be about Triskelions that get reconstructed and pinging and rocket launcher.
That's what I think, Chad. I think it's exactly what I would do. I'd board in the 2 boomerangs, the relic barrier, 2 desert twisters, and the 2 flash counters to stop divine offerings, especially.
Okay, and what are you going to take out?
Those 7, I would actually pull out the Abyss. I would just lean on the desert twisters. I wouldn't play the Abyss just to kill the 1 Arborea, because he really, if I'm Virilio, I don't care about Arborea that much. I'm just like, I'm going to play Trike after Trike. I'm going to bounce it, play Trike, reconstruct it, and then I'm going to rocket launch you. I don't care about Arborea.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I'm going to board out the Abyss. I'm going to board out the Drop. I'm going to board out the Tabernacle. That's 3. The Candle is 4. The Maze of It is 5. And I'm just like, if he plays creatures, I'm just like, remove soul and some life gain. And I've got these, I don't know. I've got the relic barrier. Maybe that's better than maze. Is that right? I don't know. I can't. But
well, okay. But you said
how many cards is that? That's like 1.
Yeah, you mentioned 5 cards. The
2,
candelabra.
3, 4, 5. I would probably actually pull 2 Tetravus.
Pull 2 Tetravus out and just go on Triskelion alone.
Yeah, just to burn. Yeah, to recur.
And then he could put in those 2 flash counters to counter the divine offerings.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you think about that, John?
I think it sounds solid. It's a good plan.
I think Tetravus is a lot better against other aggro decks and other flyers and stuff to help give blockers and stuff. But I don't know if he really needs it to win here in this control matchup. I think the Tetravus is just another target for him to just blow something up with his removal, and I'd rather just stick to the burn stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. He can gain 6 life off of divine offering and Tetravus, Derek. So yeah, you take 2 Tetravus out, you put 2 flash counters in. Now you've removed a lot of life gain from those divine offerings.
But hold on, now I just had to reconsider. Doesn't he have Clockwork Avians, Derek, and Trapper Keeper?
Derek has Clockwork Avians, that's right.
So maybe he does need those Tetravises against those 3. That's a little tricky. Yeah, I'd have to think about this longer, but for the video's time's sake,
yeah,
kind of running over there.
I don't think I'd take out the Tetris, me personally, because I think he's going to need those artifacts. Plus, once he plays Tetris, he can transmute it to get Mirror Universe or another Triskelion. So, and it plays so well with his Tron. I mean, he had a turn 3 Tetravus last game, and it looked like it was going to be curtains for Derek, and ultimately it was. But yeah, I think does he need the Desert Twisters? That's what I'm thinking. Does he really need it?
Fountain of Youth might could come out here. I don't think it's incredibly strong early in the life gain. I don't think it really matters as much for him.
I don't know. I definitely would pull out the Candelabra, the Tabernacle, and the Abyss, and the Drop of Honey, those 4. And I would just put in the 2 boomerangs and the 2 flash counters. And then I would actually take out a remove soul because his opponent only has 7 creatures that are a threat. I'd take out 1 remove soul and put in that relic barrier, and then that way, if he does get a clockwork down, you can relic barrier it. And
yeah, if he gets 1 trike into play with the coffin, then he can't really blow that trike up if he has 3 mana.
Well, that's the reason to play those 2 Desert Twisters. So now he's got to pull out 2 more cards to get the Desert Twisters in, because the Desert Twisters are going to be needed for those coffins. So maybe he takes out. Maybe you're right. Maybe that 1 Fountain of Youth comes out.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't do both boomerangs. Maybe we just do one.
Maybe
boomerang.
one Tetravus, since that would leave him with 3 Tetravus, and Derek has 3 flyers, 3 of the.
Yeah, and that relic berry can help make up the difference. Yeah, so he pulls out 1 Tetravus in the Fountain of Youth, and he can put in those 2 Desert Twisters. So if he has to, he can destroy the Tanos Coffin. The other thing we're not talking about is the Mirror Universe. Derek's deck is trying to gain life. Does he want the Mirror Universe?
Oh, I don't know. That's another really good question. You know, one really cool play though would be, you talked about the coffin with the Twister. He could, if the coffin is activated on Derek's trike, he can in response boomerang the coffin, and the trike gets removed from the game, exiled permanently.
That's right. Yeah. So the boomerang is a way to compromise the effectiveness of the coffin too.
Yep. But Mirror, I don't know. I'd rather have Mirror than Fountain of Youth, but I don't know if I'd rather have it over Ivory Tower. Maybe since he's got Sylvan and Greed, he could pay the life and just come back. Mirror could be interesting in this match.
Yeah. So maybe he takes out one of these Felwar stones and puts that mirror in.
That could work.
Okay, so on Derek's Trapper Keeper deck, Derek's got 2 Dust to Dust, 2 Tetravus, 2 Crumbles, 2 Oubliettes, an extra Desert Twister, and what is that? Tabernacle down there, and a Felden's King. So if you're Derek, John, and Tim, what are you guys thinking Derek's going to put in?
I think I'm just bringing in all the artifact removal.
Yeah.
And I don't know. What do you take out for it? Do you take out maybe those Spirit Links or?
The Spirit Links are, I don't know.
Can go.
Well, he's going to take out his Abyss for sure, right?
Yeah.
So his Abyss is coming out. I guess I'd rather have... Would you rather have Drop of Honey in play or Spirit Link in play? Spirit Link's not good on Triskelion. And it's not great on Tetravus if he's going to be splitting it up anyway. But Spirit Link is really good on his Clockwork Avians because he can gain a lot of life by attacking. Or
on a big trike or something. You could maybe keep some of them, but I don't know if he needs them all. I mean, and he's already got mainboard Desert Twisters for removal too.
Yeah.
So I think as long as he just brings in the extra artifact removal, he can basically remove every threat that the other deck has, and then what's he going to lose to?
So he pulls out the 3 Drop of Honey and the Abyss. That's 4, and he could put in the 2 Dust to Dust and
artifact removal spells,
and the 2
fine.
Crumbles, right?
Sure.
All right. Does he need the Brassmen? Because
take those. This gotta go.
Yeah,
they're not very good in this matchup. You could bring in those Tetravises instead, though.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Take out 2 Brassmen, put in 2 Tetravis.
Does he bring in the Oubliettes for more removal too? Like, how much removal does he need?
Well, he can only Oubliette the Tetravis because the Triskelions will pop themselves, right?
Yeah, they'll probably kill themselves to go to the graveyard so they can get recycled. So they're not that good.
No, but that other Desert Twister down there would be useful.
I like seeing those Sandstorms in the sideboard. They're not good in this matchup, but there's certain matchups where they are pretty
awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like
well,
that too.
but Virgilio is running Tetravis and he's splitting out his tokens.
Well, yeah, it could kill split tokens. That's kind of funny.
So,
I see 8 cards that I would bring in out of the board. I would actually go with the Cane here if I'm Derek to try to recycle and gain an advantage with being able to reuse my spell, because I think Derek has even more card draw engines possibly, or maybe he can exploit the, with Dark Heart, exploit the Greed and the Sylvan more with some, because he has more life gain, like with Divine Offerings and everything. And I think just being able to draw more cards and cycle through your key removal with the Felden's King could be big. And I would do 2 Dust to Dust, 2 Tetravis, 2 Crumble, and that 3rd Desert Twister, those 8.
Yeah.
And I would board out 3 Brassmen.
The 3 drops.
Sure Well, see, I kind of like the drop here for him because he can save his stuff with Coffin. He has Coffin, whereas his opponent does not. And the drop will kill, any threats Virilio would play, but it may not kill his. He could just Coffin it out with the drop. But I like drop almost. I don't like Abyss, and I don't really like Spirit Link, although I could see one Spirit Link being left in for a late, like, put it on my trike and just keep coffining it out and gain a ton of life kind of thing. But it's also a decent answer to another trike, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Those 8 cards for like Brassmen, a few Spirit Links, maybe a drop or 2 in the Abyss. I would also consider pulling out a Fountain or 2 here.
Yeah, does he need both of those Fountain of Youth up there in the upper right?
Maybe take them both out.
Yeah. And so that would be 2 Fountain of Youth, an Abyss, a drop of Honey, that's 4, and 3 Spirit Links, that's 7. And then he's got 3 Brassmen, so actually, I don't know. I'd rather have the Fountain of Youth than the Brassmen, I think. So if he takes out 3 Brassmen and the Abyss, that's 4. 1 drop of Honey makes 5. 2 Spirit Links makes 6, 7, and 1 Fountain of Youth makes 8. So you could take those out and get in those 8 cards.
That would work. Yeah, I don't think Oubliette is great here because, he can't really. What is he going to hit, a trike? Or,
Yeah.
I think his artifact removal's enough. He's got a lot of removal.
Well, I can say this. Derek has to shut down the rocket launcher. So he's got to basically figure out how am I gonna find a way to dig into a dust to dust and dust to dust that rocket launcher, because then it can't be returned.
Yeah, and I could see a scenario where Derek, like, divine offering some of his own big dudes when they're going to die or something, and he could crumble some of his. He could gain a ton of life with his life gain, and just dust to dust that rocket launcher and just not die because he has so much life.
Right.
Unless Leo brings the mirror.
Yeah. But he's got to keep in mind, like, this game might go long, and once Virgilio gets his Tron lands and all that, it's just going to become imperative that he hold on to the dust to dust, so that when that rocket launcher comes down, right, it's got to sit there for a couple turns before you can really use it to its maximum. So he's got a couple turns to take it out. So he needs to make sure that he's got a way to do that.
Yeah, dust to dust, divine offerings, and crumble with Kane seem pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's get back over to the match. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit while these guys are shuffling. All right. All right, Derek's got his 3 piles. So, anybody got any predictions?
I mean, I'd like to see Derek win and go to game 3, but we'll see how it pans out.
I really don't know what happens here, but well, maybe I do actually. I think I might have seen the announcement, but if I'm going to speak as if I don't recollect or don't know, or perhaps I don't remember correctly, and I'm going to say that I really hope Derek can put behind him the fact that he didn't gain a lot of life off the tower, and if he can put that behind him, I think he can really control the artifacts here from Virilio and be the control player. But I just think it's going to come down to like so draw dependent, like who gets the card advantage online and has the mana and the card advantage,
Yeah.
It's very draw dependent.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's going to be who gets the drawing engine going first. But also, I mean, there is a significant advantage for Virgilio because he's got Tron going on, and the fact that he got a turn 3 Tetravist last game, the only thing that saved Derek there was the fact that he got a Maze of Ith and a drop of honey. So, the Maze of Ith is restricted, and it really kind of saved him. So these Tron lands being able to tap for so much mana are really showing themselves to be a powerhouse in Virgilio's deck.
Yeah, and Boomerang just really seems, actually, the more I think about it, it seems so strong here in this matchup. Because even if Derek saves his Strip Mine and his Desert Twisters to try to take out the Tron land, the key Tron land, so Virgilio can't get all the mana, he can just Boomerang that land right back.
That's a good point.
It's gonna be tricky. I know he can't Boomerang and counter everything, but it's such a good answer to a lot of things here that Derek can try to do.
Man, Virgilio is really shuffling. All right, here we go. Finally.
Did he mulligan here? He's taking 6.
I don't think so. I don't think he mulliganed.
Okay.
Derek's adjusting his lighting over there. So, Savannah for Derek. Virgilio drops. Is that the mine? I always think it looks like a tower, but that's the mine, isn't it?
Derek lost. He chose to go first. That's interesting to me that he wants to be aggressive.
Well, the Ivory Tower is only a 1-of, right?
I know, but just getting that one extra card, I don't see what the rush is in this matchup. There is no
so you think he should have taken the play there or taken the draw there?
The card, yeah.
Okay,
at least I think he went first, but
so Virgilio's got a mine, a tower. He's got 2 mines and 1 tower. Gets an early Fell War, and he gets a Jaloon Tome out.
That's where I'd love to see a Divine Offering or a Crumble.
I would be saving my Divine Offerings and Crumbles. I would be saving them for that damn rocket launcher. I mean, really, that's the thing that Derek's losing scenario is there's the Divine Offering. I would not be playing that here. He needs to save that for his nemesis.
I feel like card selection is a huge advantage in this matchup, and hitting your land drops, getting to Tron, cycling through important spells. Get ready for 6 drops just to hit your land drops and get what you need is a huge advantage. That's what I think.
Yeah, I fully support getting rid of the book early. You can't let your opponent have that kind of.
Oh, Derek is missing land drops again, and he's discarding Tana's Coffin.
That's painful to watch. That's just I didn't draw lands.
He's missed 3 land drops already.
Well, the other guy is busy casting Trike.
Wow.
It's pretty grim.
There's another reason to save your Divine Offering.
I mean, if he has no other removal in his hand, then yeah.
Spirit Link, that's handy, but Well, so he left the Spirit Links in.
That sucks that he's sitting here on 3. Like I said, it's going to come down to who can get the mana and establish their board.
Yeah, I mean, then Virgilio's just gonna power through till he gets a transmute, and he's gonna have all these lands. And he's gonna go get his rocket launcher again.
Arboretum here? No, Coffin.
Tana's Coffin.
I remember these control on control matchups where you sit across your opponent and you're draw land go, and if you start missing the lands against the blue deck and they start getting mana, they can cast their spells and cast their instants too.
And there's a greed coming down. Wow, so Virgilio's really taken command and control of this game. He's got
the first card drawing engine online, the greed.
Clockwork gets removed, sold. Oof.
And there it is, Chad. The blue deck can cast spells and play their instants.
Right.
Because he hit all his mana drops.
There it is. Yeah, you're right. It's really powerful to be able to crank out your big robot and still have the 1 blue and 1 more to remove soul.
Well, I'm glad to see after 20 tournaments, Blue Robots is still the best deck.
Well,
The
you know,
Man
we
of
haven't
Steel, John.
really seen a blue robots deck in a long time, and we haven't seen a Tron deck since like tournament 1 or 2.
Yeah, no, I'm just being facetious, but it is good.
I know why, John. I know why you're facetious. You love the blue steel. I remember when you were in the finals with that.
I played blue a lot. I played I won the tournament before the one I played you, and then I made it to the finals in the next tournament and lost to you, which was you had a great control deck in that matchup. I won with it back in tournament 3 in the Wild Wild West, but that was just straight up, you know, blue robots with shops and everything else, you know, before we were a little wiser and banned some things.
He takes the Tetravis hit here, guys. He doesn't block with his avian.
It's interesting.
I guess he's hoping to start coffining things. I'm not sure why he wouldn't just trade.
The coffin is not good against Virgilio. If you ever have to let anything out, the counters are going to be crazy. Oh, drop a honeycomb.
That's why he wants to now coffin his guy and kill his stuff. But drop is going to be really slow against Tetravis. See, like he could have just traded and dropped off the trike. I don't know. I think he wants to coffin it and then let the.
What is he doing? He's attacking?
He needs to block the 1/1 tokens, I would think, that are going to come off the Tetravis.
Well, they won't attack this turn if they come off, but yeah, I don't know.
Why would he attack?
He's being a little aggressive.
Why would he attack here? He's staring down a Tetravis, a Triskelion, and a rocket launcher, and he's attacking into it so he doesn't have a blocker?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that.
No,
he needs a blocker.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. That's not a good move.
Because Virgilio has Tron online, right?
Yeah, he's got Tron.
Tron, and so it's a lot of mana, and there's a rocket launcher. Yeah, I would think just play defense. You've got a fountain, you've got a coffin, you've got the drop. You just play defense.
And see, look, I know you guys think that Jaloom Tome was good early, but Derek's the one thing he can't afford to face in this matchup is the rocket launcher. And if he didn't have a Crumble or a Desert Twister or something other, Divine Offering, I really feel like he needed to save it at all costs in case the rocket launcher came down. And here it is.
But if he let him draw a million cards, like he'd just have a way to get it back. I mean, he's got a Reconstruction in his hand right now, and a Boomerang, and something else I happen to notice.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you're right, Chad. If he blows it up,
it's just like it's kind of a mirror match in some ways between these two guys. And he does have a one-of mana drain, and he's got a few other tricks up his sleeve. It just seems like he knows that the rocket launcher is the defining card. So it would at least buy him another turn or two, and he would gain 4 life off of it.
Sure, I could see it that way. But hey, so what just happened here? Why is the factory...
So he shot him for 1, which didn't really do anything, but then he had the trike kill itself so that it would go to the graveyard so that he could recur it and play it without the Spirit Link on it. But here's the funny thing about all this. Because he attacked with the Clockwork Avian and it lost a counter, now that's going to be the thing that gets eaten by... Well, I guess he can pump it. I guess he can pump it back up to 4.
He can coffin it. Yeah, he can coffin it. But what did he use? What did he use to coffin?
He put the Tetravis in the coffin instead of his Clockwork.
Oh no, he put Tetravis in the coffin.
No, yeah, that's not.
No, he coffined the Clockwork.
The Tetravis came back tapped.
He coffined the Tetravis, and it's come back in with 6 counters on it.
Oh my god.
Right, okay. But look, now it's not going to die to the drop because he used his factory.
Right.
So remember, he could have just traded with that Tetravis.
Yeah, he could have just traded straight up Tetravis for Clockwork and been done with it.
Because the drop won't be effective against Tetravites.
No, it's gonna. Now he's gonna have 6 Tetravites. Oh my god, this is not good. And plus, meanwhile, the rocket launcher is gonna blow you to hell.
3, 4, 5, 9 mana.
Putting the Clockwork in the coffin saves it, but it's not great with it like it is with the other ones because it can only have a maximum amount of those counters, right? So, or can you only add a maximum amount of them?
No. When his Clockwork comes back in, it's going to get extra counters too, but it comes in tapped.
Yeah. It's just like a couple of really bad misplays in these two games.
Yeah,
that
not
have
good.
really cost him these matches.
But the rocket launcher is also just going to do him in here. I mean,
not trading with that flyer. When
yeah,
you could have it
he
now-
should have
now
traded it.
turning
He should have
into a
just blocked the.
7/7 is just insane.
Yeah, he should have just blocked the Tetris with the clockwork. And
I mean,
trade.
he's just dead now, right? He's only
Yeah.
got 11 life.
Yeah, he's dead.
7 in the air plus the rocket launcher. He's
Right.
dead.
He could have also Diamond Valleyed.
Well, he just played the Diamond Valley last turn. That wasn't.
Yeah, he could have just used that to gain 4 from the clockwork and then gain 1 from the fountain and just gained 5 life right now. But and then still had the coffin open if he needed to.
But yeah, instead of coffin, and
So
then
then he coffins the 6/6 Tetrabus, and then he lets it come back, and then it dies because it's then the only creature, and he's gained 5 life.
Yeah, that would have been a much better
That could have
play.
still saved him this turn, I believe, if he did that line.
That would have been the better line of play for sure.
Yeah, so now he's just dead on board.
Yeah, from the rocket launcher.
And the Tetrabus is going to swing for 7.
Yeah, the two of them together.
I mean, the Tetrabus is 7 damage. I think the rocket launcher was doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. He was doing 5 and 5. He would only done 10 with the launcher. But with the Tetrabus, he takes 7 more now.
Right. Yeah,
That's a big Tetrabus to take a hit from. I would have just sacked it to the Diamond Valley and put his Tetrabus in the coffin and then let it die to the drop.
Right.
Yeah. I think Derek could have possibly won this game, or at least been in this game right now.
Yeah, he's made some pretty rough play errors, and he's made some questionable mistakes here that are really costing him.
But it's like John said, Derek was probably kicking himself in the teeth for thinking, man, why didn't I use that ivory tower to get out of rocket launcher range game 1? And he might have gone into this carrying that load, that burden, and just like mentally wasn't adept here.
Yeah, but also he had the Divine Offering early, and he didn't have to use it on that Jaloom Tome.
Hindsight, he should have saved it. I didn't know what else he had. I knew he had like 7 cards.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaloom Tome would have given a little bit of, advantage in drawing to Derek, but it's not going to straight up win in the game where the rocket launcher does.
Did he gain the 3 life from that Jaloom when he divined it? I didn't see him if he gained the life above like 20.
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay. Well, either way, even though this game didn't work out for Derek, I just really thought they both had really cool decks, really strong decks.
Yeah, really strong. Yeah, some of the best, like spiciest, coolest decks that we've seen in a while that are also have tons of synergies and lots of combos.
I mean, we got to see Arborea and Rocket Launcher, and pretty sure there was some other cool cards in Derek's deck. Sandstorm's board, that was probably great against aggro.
Yeah.
The rounds.
So that Tetrabus is attacking in now, hitting for 7. It brings him down to 5, and then the rocket launcher hits him for the rest. Man, oof, rough, really rough, rough match for Derek. I'm sure he was a little flustered, and also, if I remember correctly, I think Derek was also wondering how the rocket launcher worked twice, and we had to explain that during the match and read the rules on the Gatherer and everything. I think Derek thought that a rocket launcher could only be used once, but we explained it, and here he is. Okay, so look what he sideboarded in. He put in the oubliettes, which we all agreed was not a good sideboard card, right?
Yeah.
Derek's showing.
I wouldn't have wasted space for him. I mean, he did bring in the Dust to Dust, which is good.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe another card or 2.
I saw the crumbles, so he brought in the 2 crumbles, right?
I can't remember if he had any main deck, but I don't think he did.
There's one of the drops of honey. Maybe he didn't bring the crumbles in. Surely he did, right?
Oh, there's
crumble. Okay, he did bring the crumbles in. Okay, so look at where Virgilio boarded in. Exactly what we thought. The 2 flash counters, the 2 boomerangs, the 2 desert twisters, and the relic barrier. How about that?
That is, I think we called that.
So we got Virgilio did what we thought. Derek, we did not think that the oubliettes were good because they don't remove the Triskelions, and the only thing they will remove is Tetravis. And we thought that in his board that he should sideboard out his Brassman and put his Tetravis in, plus that Felvin's Cane and the Desert Twister. So
I mean, he did die to a Tetrabus, so maybe that would be up. But he could have killed the Tetrabus with his 3 flyers. I mean, he had 3 answers with 4/4 Avian. He just chose not to kill it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a really, really tough match for Derek. We hate to see it go down 2-0 like that, but Derek could not overcome the power of Virgilio's Tron rocket launcher deck, and Virgilio takes down tournament number 20. Tron beating the Trapper Keeper. Congratulations to Virgilio. I actually just mailed out his playmat, the Guardian Beast Purple Moonlight playmat, last week. And he's over in, I think he's in Spain. So it'll take a few weeks to get over there. And congratulations to Virgilio for his first Four Horsemen tournament number 20 championship win.
Way to go, Virgilio. Nice deck. And Derek, congrats on the finals, bro. You had a great run, and loved your deck too. Cool.
2 really great decks. And yeah, it's definitely quite the accomplishment. Derek's come a long way as a player in the format and continued to improve. So hats off to his persistence and making it semifinals in the last tournament and finals in this one. And second place.
I had one other comment I wanted to make. You know, you talked about Tron not showing appearance much in the finals. Imagine if he had gone up against the finals deck last month that had main deck Blood Moons. Remember that one? With,
yeah,
that would have been an interesting matchup. Blood Moon.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the debate rages on about how good Blood Moon really is versus these robot decks when, I mean, yes, it would definitely be an effective way to reduce the Tron mana, but you can still cast your Triskelions and your Tetravis, and you can still fire off, you know, the rocket launcher multiple times. And but yeah, it might make the difference in terms of speed, shutting down some of those utility lands and Tron lands with Blood Moon.
Yeah, interesting deck Lorenzo had.
All right, well, with that, we will wrap up the video. Thanks for joining us for the Four Horsemen Tournament number 20 finals matches. And we will sign off for tonight. John and Tim, thank you for joining me and for co-commentating. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see everybody in the next one.
Good night.
Peace.